gotta love an automatic door opener. There's a few things in business that are quite important, and getting paid is one of those things.
Show me the money!
So let's chat about that. So getting paid is important for obvious reasons. You want to get your money, you work hard, you want to be returned the favor with some cashola. You don't want to get screwed. So I'm going to go over a few basic categories of clientele, how they fall into these categories, and kind of what my experience has been with some of them. And in the meantime, you can join me as we button up some stuff. Another spicy day as a contractor. Let's do something. Let's start with the first type of client you might encounter as you get rolling along, doing work for people, looking to get paid. They're the pay up front client. They want to give you their money up front, trust that you're going to come back and do the job and do a good job. They're like a unicorn.
But what? I can't believe.
Do not get used to this type of client. There's not many of them. If you can find them, hang on to them for dear life. No risk, lots of reward, great relationship, and the only person that can really screw it up is you. Now let me hit you with the second type of client. And I should mention, these kind of cascade downwards. The pay up front was the unicorn, the 5-star, the top of the line deluxe clientele. Everything slides down the chain just a little bit. So the second type of client, and the most common, and I gotta say part of the best structure, is gonna be a deposit type of client. You've agreed on a project, you've agreed on a price, they understand, you've determined the finances exist, and they're gonna give you an agreed upon amount of money, preferably actual money. Maybe get into that. Ever heard of a check? A lot of older folks will remember checks. Not a thing from my generation, certainly not going forward, but you want to make sure that the money's actually there, that the check is going to clear. Now, the deposit type of client, most people understand what a deposit is for. As a small business, regardless of whether you're framing buildings or you're baking cupcakes, you're not a bank. You're not there to finance the project. That's the people you're working for's problem. So you have to put money out for material. You want to have a little money to start out with then. A little show of good faith. I'll give you a hint, a little secret. Not everyone understands how a deposit works or what it's for. Now sometimes a guy's feeling a little adventurous, and instead of a deposit, you accept something that you have absolutely no need for, just because you got a little taste for adventure. I wonder if you think it'll start? You'll have to watch another episode to see what this old truck's all about. Now, deposits can be tricky business. You're gonna have people that understand a deposit wholeheartedly. No worries, I want a deposit. They say, okay. Typically, it's awesome if you're doing work for people that are in business of some sort. Then they definitely understand what you're talking about. No conversation necessary. The middle of the pack, this is going to be your most common encounter. It has been in my experience. People that are unfamiliar with a deposit.
Could you pay me in advance?
You serious? Pay you for what? Standing there?
Maybe they haven't got a lot of work done before. Maybe they've never been required to give a deposit. Say you trundle down to Costco or some sort of store and you want to order up a deep freeze. Well, they just put that deep freeze on order and you pay for it when it comes in. A lot of people are exceptionally experienced with this sort of transaction. The difference being, I'm not a multi-million-dollar corporation and I'm not looking to take on that sort of liability. So you need the money. So you have to have a little bit of a speech prepared so that everyone can understand and everyone's comfortable. Now that might go something like this. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, we are so excited to be starting your project. We have everything lined up. Work can commence as soon as the 10th. The last piece of the puzzle that needs to be put in place will be a deposit. Oh, well, why whatever for would a deposit be for? You haven't done any work. We're not really looking to part with any of our money until the project's been started. Well, I totally understand your concern. We take the deposit to cover our deposits that we've given to our suppliers for materials, ordering equipment, booking rentals. We want to be covered, we want you to be covered, and we definitely want your schedule to be covered so that everyone's comfortable with the situation. Does that sound good? And then usually people have no more questions. You just have to explain, this money isn't for me, I'm not keeping this money. This money is to cover the cost of materials that I'm using to build your project. I hate drilling these. First of all, don't drill a hole bigger than you need to drill. Just a hole big enough to get the wire through. Works. That's one thing that really bothers me about some trades. A guy like myself goes to the trouble to do a nice job framing it all up, and then they come whacking through the building like a herd of beavers that haven't eaten in a year. Now, you think you've gotten away free and clear. You're saying, Scott, this is super simple. I got my little deposit speech worked out. I am free and clear. Let me tell you, there's a third kind of deposit people. And as I mentioned, these are all cascading. They start out at gold standard and you end up at the bottom of the bucket. So the bottom of the bucket deposit client, they know what the deposit's for. They understand why you want the money. They don't care. Now, in this scenario, you got to stay tough. You got to stay tough. You might want the work. It may be the most interesting project that you could come across or imagine, but you got to stay firm. Deposit policy is not something we waver on. Ever, never, ever. I don't care if you're so-and-so's cousin, grandmother, old-time friend from down the street. Deposits are important. If you don't get them, and it could be with the best intentions, you don't take a deposit, you start a project, and the people that own the project get hit by a bus. It's not their fault. What are you going to do? You are financially exposed. You've nailed all the wood together. What are you going to do? Run around and take it down? You can't return it. You are stuck. So if you come head to head with one of these folks that is refusing to give you a deposit, even though they clearly understand what the deposit is for, red flag. You halt. You have some time for conversation. But if you can't come to a resolution that results ultimately in you receiving a deposit, you're out of there. Well, let's dive into the third type of clientele, the negotiator. Now, the negotiator, they can open up a whole bunch of surprise. You never know what they're going to come at you with.
I have your check.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Now, I want you to be prepared. The figure's not exactly what we discussed, because after careful consideration, I felt that figure was not appropriate.
But one thing's for certain, they're going to be looking to save a buck, and they're not afraid of a bit of an argument.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something, don't take for granted.
Now, the negotiator can be a tricky kind of client to handle. They can get cagey, they can get upset, they can get offended, they can get sneaky. I have only experienced this once or twice, and it was fairly mild. But you'll see things like scope changes partway through the job. If you're wondering what I'm doing here, this is a disconnect for an air compressor. And it has to go in through the wall before we can finish insulating. So I'm going to cut a couple of holes for strain relief so the wire can go in through the back. And then we'll let somebody else worry about the rest. My God, those are hot. Very unpleasant. And then you go, why would I do this in the trailer? I could have done it out in the shop and had a lot less mess. This shit is everywhere now. Hindsight, 2020. Just like picking clients. The last type of client, when it comes to getting paid in your business, this one you should fear the most.
I want to. I'm afraid.
Don't be afraid.
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
The no payer. Now, not all no payers are the same. I'm not saying that everyone goes into a project with the intention of not paying you, but they do happen. Some people get you started. They might even be disguised in a cloak, a disguise, a mustache, as a deposit people. They give you a little bit of money. They go, come on, come on, come on, chase the carrot. They got you. And then they hook you, you reel you in, and you are cooked. They were never going to pay the rest.
Where is it? Where's the rest? The money, Skylar. Where is the rest? Where is the money?
Then you got your no payers by circumstance. Lost their job, lost their marbles, lost their wife, dog ran away, whatever you want to say. And they can't pay you. But at the end of the day, you got to stick to your guns. You got to get paid. Like I said, put up a fight and get what's yours and work out a plan. If it's a no payer due to circumstance, they lost their job or something happened or an accident took place, well, just because something bad happened to somebody else doesn't mean that you're going to foot the bill for the whole project. You're on the hook too. You're not going to put your kids and your wife, your family at risk. So, just be polite. Come up with a plan. Most people, and I still believe most people are good people. They want to work out some sort of plan with you, and you definitely want to get your money. I'm going to sit on top of this pile of sewer pipe here, which is fitting because the story I'm about to share with you has some very shitty people involved. Now, I have only been struck by a no payer one time, and never again. Ah, man, I tell you, we were naive. Starting out, gung-ho, it was a big project. Couldn't say no. Red flag number one, it was being managed by a third party. I never met the owner. I never met the person writing the checks. They had a property manager. If you're not familiar with property management stuff, I can't help you because I'll never be familiar with it ever again. Terrible. Done deal, out of there. Rentals are bad enough, never mind one that's being managed by a third party. So, we do a lot of work. Now, here's the catch. They reeled me in under the guise that they were a deposit people. They had no problem. They paid, I think it was almost 50% up front. Well, heck, I saw no issue. It was a big job for us at the time. We plowed forward materials, labor. We worked day and night. I mean, I'm telling you, we ground out that job. Came to the end, invoice submitted to the property manager. No complaints, no questions. Of course, we always follow up. We're not expecting people to pay the very next day. Follow up. Any questions, any concerns? No. Any questions, any concerns? Nope. Well, I'll tell you, time went by and finally I started to have questions and concerns. And I phone up the property management lady and she just bluntly says, they have told me they are not going to pay. Dang, I almost hit the floor. I didn't know what to say. I'd never experienced that. What do you mean they're not going to pay? They have to pay. Well, I'll tell you, they don't have to do anything.
You pay you!
I can give you half.
You pay no, bitch!
Hey, don't talk to me like that, okay?
I'm this crap.
So, no point in fighting with her. She said nothing I can do. They live in they live down on the coast, which from is far away from me. I can't just slip out and see these people. They're not going to pay. All right. Well, I didn't know what to say. I said, well, okay, I'll have to call you back. And she was happy to get rid of me. Doesn't want to be in an awkward situation. I gathered myself. I talked to a few other business owners and got a little advice. I phoned this lady back up. I said, I really do apologize. See, no need to go on the defense. I apologized to her. I said, I really apologize that this is how this has turned out. I still have the keys for the property. sure you'd like those back. She said, yep, I'll have to get those keys back. I said, has there been any change, any developments in the payment schedule? She goes, nope, they're not gonna pay. And what I can't remember what even the reason was. They didn't even give a good reason. That's how bold-faced this was. It wasn't, oh, it took too long or the work wasn't good enough. They just can't get a hold of them, not gonna pay. I said, well, we'll have to get the keys back to you. She goes, yep, you could drop them off at our office. I said, yeah, I can do that. I'm just gonna need them for a second first because I'm gonna slip back down to the property. I got a little bit of material there still. She goes, that's fine. And I don't think it'll take that long, maybe just the afternoon, and I'll uninstall all the material and the work that we've done in a hastily fashion so I can, get my money back. Oh, well, you can't do that, sir.
It's the ultimate payback for anyone who's been told the check's in the post. The client is inside saying she can't pay, so this builder is destroying his own work.
Oh, I said, it's no trouble at all. I'm already parked out front. The tools are all here. I mean, I'm definitely skilled enough to uninstall it if I was good enough to put it in for you. Well, I'll tell you what, she backpedaled so fast. I didn't know if that would work. She backpedaled so dang fast. She said, I will get right back to you. The phone hung up, and I'm telling you, 10 minutes later, those people were arranging e-transfers to me to pay the balance of the bill. Oh, man, I'll tell you. I was sweating bullets. I never felt relief like that in my life. I'm talking at the time, this was enough money that this would have been like a nail in the coffin situation. I'd have started picking up bottles and cans in my spare time. So that's a no payer. That's my only experience. I went from a deposit people to a no payer to a paid in full by pressure. So again, put up a fight. Don't let people take advantage of you, and don't be dumb. If you see 3 red flags pop up, well, pull the plug and move on. Sometimes it's better to not finish the job and take what you can get than to keep getting lured and mucked along until they break you, Anyways, well, it's not me that's putting in this sewer pipe, so let's mosey on. Now, the other thing you can do to help yourself get paid is make it easy for people to pay you. Tell people what kind of payment you will accept up front. If checks aren't acceptable, say you won't take a check. Say you want a bank draft. If you don't accept Visa, MasterCard, credit card, you don't trade for horses and blankets or any of that kind of crap, then tell them you don't. Simple. The other thing to beware of, e-transfers. You want to experience frustration? If you need to be paid on an invoice on a timely fashion and it's of a large amount, be prepared to wait for e-transfer. Very popular, but most people got a limit. So if they owe you 10 grand, well, it might take them 5 days to pay you 10 grand. Because they're gonna piecemeal it together. Well, made her home. Heck of a long work week, girls, hey? I come home from work and the first thing I do is come on down here and make sure there's food and water for these gals. So we've covered the types of payment, we've covered the types of people, so I thought I'll just leave you with one story to finish the video off. I enjoy telling them and hopefully you enjoy hearing them. So this is kind of reversed. In this situation, I was the client. We had a custom order of material that had been on order for a year. Can you imagine that? A year. So we were deposit people. We gave these folks a deposit and no worries. We gave them $5,000 deposit to cover their, some of their cost. And we wait and we wait and we wait and we wait. I gave the deposit on a Visa card. That's how we run our business. Everybody's different. We use the cards and get a few rewards points and a few things like that. Works for us. They didn't say a word. No worries. Well, the order is now due. They phone me up. Scott, order's ready. Well, I'd like to pay you. Here is my Visa card. $12,000 left owing on this order, right? So for us, it's something to take seriously. He says to me, I got to inform you, we have a new corporate policy this year, and we can only accept up to $10,000 payment on a credit card. I said, really? He said, yep, I can't accept it. It's the rules. You're going to have to come up with some other form of payment. So I kept my cool. I said, I'll have to talk to I'll have to talk to my partner about it, and we'll get back to you. No worries. I didn't need to talk to anybody. I was just giving him a minute to really think about what he had just said to me, because I called him back. I said, bud, the order's ready to go, right? He said, absolutely. Absolutely ready to go. He's proud as punch, eh? On time, ready to go. You just need to pay and pick it up. I said, huh. I said, and there's custom order, right? Like, I mean, they're done. They're sitting on the ground and it's custom order. He goes, yeah, well, yeah. I said, well, the only way I can pay you is with a Visa card. He said, but I told you I can't accept a Visa card. So here we're in the middle of what I've described to you as a situation to avoid. Stick to what the rules of the agreement were. When I did the deposit and the job commenced, Visa card was totally acceptable. Now, he changed the rules halfway through for his own benefit, because I don't know if you know, but as a business owner, if you use Visa or MasterCard or whatever credit card service, they charge you a little fee percentage-wise of the transaction because you're using their service as they should. Nothing in life is free. So this corporation now, monstrous compared to my one-man band here, well, they don't want to pay this fee. So they've changed the rules and they're trying to get out of it. Well, I told them, you know, I'm not going to come and get them. You just keep my deposit then. I understand I'll forfeit the deposit, and that's a financial loss to me, but if we can't pay with the credit card, we have no other way to pay you, and I'm not interested in entertaining this new deal you're proposing. Well, I'll tell you, dead silence, on the other end of the phone. He immediately realized the mistake in his course of actions. He quickly said to me, Scott, give me the Visa number. I'm really sorry. I understand what you're saying. Processed the payment, and we moved on. We did have a discussion afterwards that I completely understand going forward that's not the way it's going to work, because it's a new deal with new terms. So, stood up for myself, got what I wanted. You should do the same. And, you know, just be forthcoming with your clients and suppliers and make sure everybody's on the same page. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll definitely be whipping up some more videos for your viewing pleasure.